These are all space, universe, solar system, heavenly bodies, planets, asteroids, comets, ready to be discovered by us humans. So in this chapter, we'll study about everything about after the Earth atmosphere, heavenly bodies in the solar system, and stars and constellations. They are main part of our chapter. So let's start. So at first, I want to tell you what are heavenly bodies. Every object outside the Earth atmosphere in the space is known as a heavenly body, like the planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth. Earth is also a planet from the 8 planets in our solar system. We won't include Earth because it's our own human planet, so we live on that. So let's see other planets: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and there are 5 dwarf planets in our solar system. So let's see now. We have now these all are heavenly bodies: stars, sun, everything is heavenly body except the Earth, because we are in a Earth. So we can see all, where we see the blue sky, it's all Earth. So it's this Earth. We are compared very small to the Earth, and Earth is comparedly very small to the huge and vast universe. So let's start. But first, second thing we can see, celestial bodies. Celestial bodies are the bodies. They are same, no major difference between heavenly bodies and celestial bodies. The difference is celestial bodies are far about things, like the other, not the sun. We can take a star like other Proxima Centauri, Alpha Centauri. So these all galaxies, Andromeda galaxy. These are celestial bodies. So let's start. So have you wondered when we see all the stars at night in the black carpet like space? So that stars are from huge distance from Earth, huge distances scattered through the universe. So that stars give off light. They have fusion in them, and that give off light. That light reaches us, and we see that there's something is glittering all over, twinkling all over the sky. So these stars are also, I have already told you, known as celestial bodies. So these stars form many patterns. If we notice carefully, there are many stars as thousands, unlimited of stars scattered. So they sometimes make a pattern. These patterns resemble human things or animals, which we make a concept that this is a constellation. That group of stars that form a figure, that form a group, are known as constellations. Constellations can include don't include one star. It include more than 2 or 3 or more stars. So we'll see now different types of constellations and study in deep about them. So now let's see. There are mainly many 88 constellations. So now let's see Ursa Minor. Ursa Minor is also known as Saptarishi, or in Indian language it's known as Raghu Saptarishi or something like R. So let's see, this is made up of 7 stars with 4 make it like a deeper like formation. Deeper was used in earlier old ages for drinking water. So these are the 4 stars here which form a deeper, and these are the 3 stars that form the handle. So in the last star, in the Saptarishi Ursa Minor, that last star is known as the pole star. That star is also known as the North Star, and it does not appear to move. So in Ursa Major, now there are 2 types of Ursa: Ursa Minor, Ursa Major. So Ursa Major is a little big, same-like formation, 7 stars, but has more other fainter stars which form a formation like a bear. This is Ursa Minor means small bear, and Ursa Major means a big bear. So that bear also contains some faint stars which together form a formation like a big bear. And these 2 stars of Ursa Major, here is the Ursa Minor, it contains the pole star, and the Ursa Minor is somewhere here. So these both bigger stars, these stars from a Ursa Major point to the pole star. So if we have to find the pole star, we can take help from these. If we have to locate the Ursa Minor or Ursa Major, then we can locate the pole star. Poles has a speciality that it does not appear to move and it's in the northern end, and it also helps to guide locations. Okay, so because all other stars move from east to west, but pole star does not appear to move as other stars. So if you see here carefully, these constellations are more than 88 constellations made by Greek astronomers or Greek people, Persian people, Indian people. So these all constellations resemble animals. They also resemble human figures, such as Orion. Orion has a formation like this. Orion is also known as a hunter, and what stars make a formation, and they form the Greek looks make imagination like a man hunting a lion or have a shield in his hand. So this is called Orion or the hunter. So like these, or like there are many constellations all around in the sky. You can try to locate them in the northern hemisphere. This is Orion. You can locate in the northern hemisphere in the April season. So these all constellations give a beauty to our sky, and that's what fascinates us when we look up the sky in the solar system. So now let's see planets. Planets are the beauty to our solar system. In our solar system, there is a star, our sun, and there are 8 planets and 5 dwarf planets and millions of asteroids and comets. So the name of 8 planets are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. So if we have to memorize it, we can say my very efficient mother just served us noodles. So this is for Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. This is my very efficient mother just served us noodles. So now planets are done. So these planets rotate all around the sun. They are bound by the sun's gravitational force that keeps them in orbit. So these planets all orbit all around the sun to and from endlessly till all the solar system ends. So these planets go show on a particular imaginary orbit. They can't see the orbit. They just go all around with the fixed path. We just made an imaginary line to consider where they will go, and that imaginary line is called each planet's respective orbit. So these planets have many satellites also. They are moons. So we will study about moons in later chapter. Now let's see. I'll give you a photo. You can see them. How many time they takes to revolution, and what is the position in respect of the sun. So you can see the photo here. So now let's study about the sun. Sun is the only star in the solar system with both all the planets and the dwarf planets in their respective orbits. So sun's name is also known as Sol in Greek, depicting the Roman god of sun, Helios, or in the ancient Roman culture, it's known as the king. The sun is known as Ra, and Sol is also came from a Greek word. So sun is basically the star which does fusion to create energy. That fusion energy that it joins hydrogen and helium, and that fusion created so much energy at the core of the sun that it produced violent and tremendous heat and light, which helps all the planets in the solar system get light and heat. And sun also bonds with its tough gravitational force. So now I will give you an interesting fact that sunlight take approx 8 minutes to reach Earth. 8 minutes 8 seconds to reach Earth. But the light from the core of the sun to the upper layer to the outermost layer to the sun takes thousands and thousands of the years. This is because the radiation from the core, when the fusion is done, the radiation comes out and then other front particles absorb it, then they release it, then their front particles absorb it, releases, and this process goes on and goes on till it reaches the sun's surface and then photosphere of the sun, and then it comes all to all the planets in the solar system. So if I have that photo, you can see that how the planets are ordered. So at the first, Mercury is the closest to the sun, then the Venus, then Earth, then Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune and dwarf planets. We'll study the planets a little more detail after this topic on sun. So that sun, when now all this radiation is done, so sun is a middle-aged star, and about 5 or 7 billion years it will continue giving us light. Then after 5 to 7 billion years, the sun will swell up like into a red giant, and it will swallow most of the inner planets. You don't know what's inner planets? We'll study later. So swallow most of the inner planets, and then only the outer planets will circle the sun till it becomes a white dwarf. So now you'll see planets, dwarf planets, and inner planets, outer planets. So as you have seen, this is Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. So these planets, and here is our huge mighty sun. So here when you see Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, these are known as inner planets. These are made mostly of rocks, all of rocks, and they don't certainly have an atmosphere in front on them, and these planets are rocky and they have a hard iron core in the center. These planets are known as inner planets or rocky planets. And Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, they are the outer planets. These are made up of gases such as nitrogen, helium, and these last two planets are made up of ice. So these two are included in the outer planets only. So these are known as outer or gaseous planets. So now we'll see the biggest planet in our solar system is Jupiter, and the smallest planet is the Mercury, and Mars. I'll tell you a fact, Mars appears to be red in color. Because Mars has light of oxide and iron oxide on its surface, which give it an orangish or reddish color. So this you can see, they all rotate in fixed orbit, imaginary orbits called orbits. All the planets, they go on around the sun till they complete the orbit, and they come again to the initial position and start again the same process. That process, when they go from one revolution, they complete one revolution. If you want, when the sun planets revolve around the sun, this is called revolution, and when they rotate on the axis, this is known as rotation. If you want to learn more about this, in the description link, there is a link about motions of the earth, and it's connected to the other planets, rotation, revolution, everything, motions of the earth. You can learn from the video. So please see the video in the link description below. So now let's come back to our topic. These inner planets, outer planets, and you can see there, most of the outer planets have faint rings, but Saturn has the most significant of rings, and if you see from a amateur telescope, you can see its rings quite significantly, and it's the pride of Saturn, its rings. It's also called the king of rings. And Jupiter has lots and 67 moons around it, which 15 are discovered, means 17 are named also, and other 17 are not named, but they are the Jupiter only. So Jupiter, being the biggest planet, rules around the solar system with all its moon-like coteries like moon all around him, just like the solar system. So this was all about planets, and now let's see what are dwarf planets. So now let's see dwarf planets. There are 5 dwarf planets in our solar system. These all dwarf planets are little bit small from the other planets, 8 planets in the solar system, but they are also not big enough to make a circle around their own gravity. So these are examples of these dwarf planets are Pluto, Eris, Makemake, Himayu, and one more. So let's see now about Pluto. So Pluto has a moon called Charon because Pluto is the most famous dwarf planet, we can say. So Pluto before 2006, Pluto was described as a planet, but in August 2006, International Astronomical Unit made a new definition for a planet, and Pluto didn't suit it because it was too small to be called a planet. So it was removed from the list of planets and included in the dwarf planets, but it's the biggest of the all dwarf planets. So Pluto in August 2006, this International Astronomical Union was held. So now this Pluto has a moon called Charon, which is around half its size, and Pluto crosses the orbit of Neptune to revolve around the sun. It crosses the orbit of Neptune, which was a major reason for its disselection as a planet and in selection for a dwarf planet. So dwarf planets, at last I can summarize you. Dwarf planets are the planets which are very relatively small to be called a planet, but big enough to have some moons of their own. These dwarf planets are mostly in the Kuiper belt, the belt outside the solar system, surrounding the solar system. But Ceres and LS section is in the asteroid belt between the Mars and the Jupiter, containing many asteroids. So is there the biggest asteroids of all Ceres. So these are the list of 5 dwarf planets. I'll write the 5 dwarf planets here, and you can see the screenshot. This is Ceres, Eris, Pluto, Makemake, and Himayu. So this was all a list of dwarf planets, and these are somewhat huge. So now we'll see the moon of the Earth, the natural satellite of our planet Earth, Luna. So the moon is around 3,84,400 kilometers approx away from the Earth. Many satellites, many rocket spaceships have went to the moon to study about the moon in great detail, because now always we look at the night sky, it has fascinated us that what is that Chanda Mama which we see in the sky, huge shining and giving us light at night. So that moon does not has its own light, but it reflects the light from the sun and it reflects back to our eyes, and we suppose that the moon has its own light, but that's not true. So now you will say that in the night sky, because it's in the night time, sun has not gone anywhere. Sun is there at the position and it gives light to the moon, and moon reflects us. Because moon is the white surface that we receive white light from the moon. So now to study that Chanda Mama which has fascinated us when we in our childhood. So many scientists and astronauts have gone to the moon to collect samples. The first human to land to the moon was Neil Armstrong with Buzz Aldrin. And Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin stepped on the moon's surface, and Neil Armstrong first stepped on the moon's surface, created a step on the moon from the ladder of the spaceship, created an impression of his shoe and said, one small step for a man and a huge step for mankind. But I should tell you a funny thing. That was lost on radio because it was not heard on the earth. So it was heard that a small step for a man, small step for mankind. They are both the same thing. So that's the funny thing, because of the radio sets, was displaced, so all the meaning is changed. So now then they collect samples of the moon. They stayed for 18-20 hours on the moon's surface, and they returned back. So that curiosity to go to the moon, India has also launched some satellites to go to the moon, Chandrayaan 1, Chandrayaan 2, but Chandrayaan 2 was not a successful mission. It landed, but it was not successful. But we know that our country India will go to the, as it has gone to the Mars, it will go again to the moon, and it will be have held victory. So moon. So now we have studied about the special event to moon. Now let's see. Does moon has no atmosphere? Is 1/4 of Earth size, 1/8 of Earth mass, and I have told you the distance 3,84,400 kilometers. And also it takes phases, means it revolves revolves around the Earth. As Earth revolves the sun, this moon Luna revolves around the Earth. So when it revolves, we see different kind of phases, because I have told you the sunlight, when it changes its position, the sunlight falling on it also changes. Means position is falling. So we also see the indented part which is enlightened by the sun's light. We only see that part. So there are many phases of the moon, around 5-6 phases. So if you want to learn more about phases of the moon, you can see the video link in the description below. I have made an activity on phases of the moon, and it's all about phases of the moon. So you can see that video for the phases of moon. So now I want to tell you a fact that the moon is also known as Luna. It's a Greek word, and its name was Greek people for convenience. So moon or Chandama, which is loved by every child. So that moon is now don't lay undiscovered in front of our eyes. Many have gone, and the first person to go from the to the space from India was Rakesh Sharma. So now all about moon is done. Now we will see about asteroids and meteors. Let's see asteroids and meteoroids. So asteroids are the small chunks of rock that revolve the Earth in the Sun in the same way as Earth revolves all the other planets revolve the Sun. So that small chunks of rocks, when they pass through the Earth, because they are just floating to the Earth, and sometimes when bounded by the sun's gravity, they revolve around it. They revolve in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. So these asteroids, when come near the Earth, they are captured by Earth's gravity and they fall on Earth. These asteroids are also chunks of rocks which are formed near the formation of the solar system with the planets, and they are also known as planetoids or minor planets. So now this was all asteroids, small chunks of rock in the asteroid belt. Now let's see what are meteors. So now first we have to discover what are comets. Comets are the huge, very big rocks and of dust and ice, which huge tail their tail is even bigger than the sun. They are more 10 times or 20 times, 100 times bigger than the sun. So their tail also can capture sun. So when these comets pass through the solar system, they are also known as visitors of the solar system, because they come from the Kuiper belt. I told you what is Kuiper belt. It surrounds the solar system, which is otherwise surrounded by the Oort cloud. Oort cloud is the outermost layer of the solar system. Then there is the Kuiper belt, containing meteors, rocks, not asteroids, and comets, dwarf planets. And there is sun, and then all the planets. And there is asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. So that Kuiper belt. The comets come from the Kuiper belt, and when they come near the Earth, some chunks of rocks fell to the Earth. These rocks are known as meteors. When they fall in the Earth atmosphere, the Earth atmosphere burn them up, which we see as meteoroids. If they are all finished, they are known as meteors, because when they catch a fire when they reach the atmosphere. So when they don't reach the atmosphere, they are just burned in the atmosphere. Then they are called meteors, and if they successfully reach the Earth's surface, then they are called meteoroids. We see hundreds and thousands of meteoroids and meteors fall on the Earth every day. So it's just fascinating to see many shards there are many pyramidal shards like Halley's comet, which comes and leaves chunks all around, and many lunar showers also of comets, which gives viewers of the solar system a fascinating view. So meteoroids are nothing but small chunks of comets which fall to Earth. So this was all about our chapter. This was all about the chapter. Chapter was geography, sun in the earth in the solar system. All about we have just in a small A. Now if we'll go to upper classes, we'll learn more about this astronomy, fascinating astronomy, where we will learn more about this universe. Thank you.